Go ahead and call to order the July 21st, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of Education of CUSD 201. Roll call.
Leah Conover, Heather Franklin. Here. Carlos, oh, sorry. Oh, hit your buttons when you want that. Carlos Avia,
Here.
Timothy Herman,
Here.
Adina Hoover,
Here.
Kevin Barron,
Here.
Alexandria Mel.
Here.
All right, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we'll start with a closed session. So the chair will entertain a motion to enter closed session to discuss specific employees, student discipline, and purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Herman,
Yes.
Dr. Hoover,
Yes.
Ms. Franklin,
Yes.
Mr. Avia,
Yes.
Ms. Mill.
Yes.
From closed session at 7:06. Approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the June 16th, 2020 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the Board of Education's May 19th, 2020. Definitely says May 19th. June, wait,
It says May on her sheet.
it says May 19th. Okay. So is the one below June 30th correct? Okay. Okay, let's start over then. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the Board of Education's June 16th, 2026 regular meeting as presented.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the June 30th, 2026 special meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, moving into public comment. So just a reminder on public comment, it's time for the community to address the board with comments and questions. Each community member has 5 minutes. Please, once you've been notified of your time is up, step away from the podium. Public comment will be for a total of 30 minutes with no more than each subject lasting 20 minutes. Please understand this is not an engagement time. The board will consider your comments and its decisions. For those comments or questions requiring a follow-up response, the board president or superintendent will follow up. First up, Keith Nega.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Laurel Rugen?
I'm okay too.
Okay. Michael Lynn,
Yeah. Can I just talk?
come on up.
How are you guys doing? So,
Wait, 1 second. There it is.
Okay.
oh, I just touched it once. Thank you, that makes more sense. Like, I thought I had to hold it the whole time. So, no, I just had like, just being here for a while, I just have like several ideas, like they're kind of random-ish, so please, I can understand they might not be on topic as far as some of the other conversations that you had. But they're just school-related ones, and I have like eight points, so we don't have to dwell on any one of them, but anyway, I was wondering, does like, say for health stuff, does like the school nurse offer like strep tests, to students that I had heard once that schools, they don't offer strep tests, and I almost think that they probably don't, I can't imagine them costing that much. And I would just think that could be a handy thing just to keep kids healthy. That's the other one I had thought is whenever, and these are across the board, these points. So another one is like whenever I hear about like say school shootings and things in other parts of the country, let's hope it's elsewhere always, but or wherever, we don't want them anywhere. But like that sometimes I kind of think that if there's like an intruder that's like somewhere in the hallways, that I would imagine that there's got to be teachers that everyone's hiding. And this is just my imagination. I just imagine that teachers probably want to like contact police, but can't, like, because everyone's trying to be hush. I don't know if there's a system in place for teachers to contact police to tell them where the intruder is in the school. I just sometimes imagine that it would be handy if teachers had kind of like like their own phone number to be able to text police and tell them about the coordinates and location of where an intruder might be at any given point, just to help the police figure out wherever this intruder is inside the building. So that's something that I've often thought whenever I hear about shootings anywhere. So another thought I had, especially when it comes to designing new schools, I'm familiar with I think it's called CPTED, which is crime prevention through environmental design. I don't know if it's a principle in that or not. So CPTED is just a way to design buildings to try to reduce crime, one way or the other. When it comes to intruders, and when we're thinking about doing a new school, I can't help but think is that it might be nice to have exterior doors on the first floor classrooms, so that if people had to like, and of course, put alarms on them because you don't want them, people just sneaking out or what. But I just thought sometimes if there's like an intruder event, it'd be awfully nice to that at any given classroom, people can make an exit. So that was my third point. Fourth point, now is like with education, and I could repeat any of these, I'm sure I'm boring you guys, but there's times I've wondered that like I'm almost surprised in this country that like we don't have like say in high school that they don't teach, I feel like there should be almost a class, because I feel like this whole country is geared up on stocks and like ETFs, IRAs, things like that. I almost feel like every high school should be teaching that, not doing like a mechanics class on how to fix your car, like, which I don't know if you guys offer anymore, but just like a class that like teaches kids, or at least some sort of like partial curriculum to kind of go over those type of principles, because I feel like it's in today's age, I feel like almost every American's should know about like a good bit of fundamentals about those topics. You see, my fifth point is when it comes to vacant seats in schools. That now, when I grew up, I went to Catholic schools that were of course private, and when I think about enrollment in a public school, I can imagine that the enrollment that just fluctuates year by year, but just due to the demographics in a town, that there may not be so many kids in one year versus the next. So I would think that there's got to be, in any given year, there could be maybe even upwards to like 100 vacant seats in a class, like not in a classroom, but like in a year. Sometimes I wonder, is it possible that the school district could do a bit of a kind of like to be able to sell those seats? It sounds kind of silly, but I almost think that is a way to operate as a bit of like a private school, where you could, if you have say like 50 or 100 seats that are vacant in a given year, and you have the teachers, the classrooms and stuff there, and there's a lot of other kids in other school districts that are probably wanting to go to Westmont's high performing schools, and thank you guys for having it high performing. That I just wonder if that's like a way to generate another mean of revenue. It also kind of I kind of like the idea of adding some flexibility to strict school districts and things. So that was just an idea. Let me see, my sixth point, I apologize, is I was contacted, so I have an architectural firm. I was contacted by a person that was at Downers Grove South School. They had a program where the school would set up an after-work program for their students, so that they would. So I was contacted. They said, "You're an architectural firm. We have some students that are interested in architecture. Would you like to have an intern that will come in like weekdays for a couple hours or something like that after school?" I could afterward I could give you guys the guy. I could look up an email what the guy's name is. I just wonder. I don't know if Westmont has a similar program, and if you don't, that it might be an interesting or good one to have. And it's not just for architecture, but it could be for all sorts of different disciplines or professions. I thought it'd be a nice thing for students. My seventh point is, the athletics at the school. I understand that our high school has a low population, which is fine. I think that's actually a good quality. It's something I like about the school. But I'm not too sure. I thought I heard once that because of it, that the school doesn't offer some different sports teams. Like, I don't know if we have like a tennis team or different things, like at the high school level at least. And if we don't, I would say, can Westmont then, if we don't have enough kids to say offer a certain team, can we pair up or join, like somehow do an arrangement with another adjacent high school so that the students could be, so that they could just join their team and whatever, just so they get more experience and whatnot. And then my last point, my eighth point, is me and my family, we went to Argonne National Laboratory a few weeks ago. They had kind of a youth open house event. It was a really sweet thing. Huge turnout. There was tons of people there. I remember there was one person that was working. That works at Argonne. I think it was a scientist, but she said that one of the best things of her job was working. One of her favorite parts of working at Argonne was working with high school students. that they have what they call an exemplary science program for students. I don't know if Westmont High School gets engaged in it or not, but they said now that a school, because it's a publicly funded national laboratory, a lot of the facilities are free, but that like an organization like a high school would have to, and this goes for any organization across the country, is that if they want to use their equipment or to run tests, they have to submit paperwork. And they say that there are local area high schools that do the same type of paperwork, and then they have a high school student class in science that are able to get the exposure of working at Argonne, or like doing experiments at Argonne National Lab. And I thought that was a pretty cool thing to hear. I don't know if Westmont High School offers that. So I know those are my points. I know they're all over the place. I don't expect immediate answers because maybe they're all silly. But anyway, those are my comments. So
Thank you.
all right.
appreciate it.
Sure.
Steve Hogan?
Good evening, board members and the members at large of the community for CUSD 201. 7 years ago, my wife Brenda and I made the choice to move to Westmont. Why? Well, that's a simple answer. Because the community values and takes pride in its community schools. We saw a place where families like mine wanted their kids to thrive. Today, as we consider building a new elementary school, I think about that same commitment. Manning and Miller, as they have been serving our village well, but they are severely aging, as demonstrated by many different presentations. Well beyond their means, and according to our community needs in the future and their modernization needs, they cannot be met by the current facilities. If Manning and Miller cannot remain open consistently due to roof leaks, any heating problems, etc., that is actually lost educational opportunities for our students. We must ensure that every child in the district of 201 has a safe, modern environment where kids can grow consistently. This potential referendum isn't just about bricks and mortar, it's about continuing a very good tradition that brought my family here. By investing now, we ensure that Westmont remains a place where schools are a cornerstone of our community. My family moved here for that reason, and I want to make sure that that legacy continues for families to come. It is disappointing and frustrating that the first iteration of the referendum was only one short of a tie. And the second was fueled by misinformation in the community that the new school building across from the street from Ty Warner Park was inappropriate. Nothing could be farther from the truth at that time. Nonetheless, let's finally get this done for our community. Investing in our kids at all grades is absolutely essential, not just for the upper grades, but the lower grades as well. They deserve the facilities. I thank the school board and the respective administrators in prioritizing these needs, and let's get it done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving into the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Number 1, personnel recommendations. Melanie Viklavic, athletic trainer, Westmont High School. Jaden Brown, computer technician. Nicholas Sibrava, temporary night custodian. Kristen Sabara, Westmont High School varsity softball coach. Resignation, retirements, leave of absence. Number 2, approval of additional June 2026 expenditure report. Number 3, approval of July 2026 expenditure report. Number 4, ratification of June 2026 regular payroll. Number 5, renewal of the treasurer's bond. And number 6, approval of donation for Westmont High School dugout. Roll call?
Mr. Herman?
Yes.
Dr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Franklin?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Ms. Mill?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Motion passes. Information and discussion. Policy, first reading. More policies.
All right, so we had, so press just issued their, well, didn't just, but in June, they issued their June 2026 update memo. And in that, they outline any revisions to policies. And the majority of them, June was pretty light. Majority, pretty much all of them were updated in response to a 5-year review, or they were legal references or footnotes that were updated. There are a couple that we talked about just because they were more interesting, but not really anything changes. So the ones that we talked about we typically don't talk about exhibits in the policy meeting because it's not policy, but this one's kind of important maybe to note because it could impact the board. It's something you could use. 2120 Exhibit 3. It's just a new exhibit that's created to help boards with annually appointing a delegate to the IASB Delegate Assembly, and it's really just a form to help if needed. So that's worth just taking a peek at. In terms of other policy updates that we talked about, 670, 680 are unchanged, but their legal references and footnotes were updated in response to some cases, some legal cases. And then 6190 is updated just to align with policy 7330, which is the one that's probably the most interesting to note. So 7330 was rewritten. This is all about student use of buildings. And what this is really saying, this policy, is that student-led non-curriculum related clubs, they can meet on school property during non-instructional times. So these non-curriculum related clubs must be initiated and led by students. They cannot be school sponsored, but staff can supervise as long as staff aren't involved and they don't participate. And any students who have these non-curriculum related clubs, they must be treated equally as any other non-school sponsored group, and they can use the facilities for free. So really those are the biggest updates, and I would say all of them are just footnotes and unchanged. That 7330 is the only one that is different. It's rewritten.
Thank you.
So these are all attached in the agenda. Remind me, the blue is all the adjustments that are made, whether it's struck or an addition. And red is just adjusting years. Is that right? I think.
You talking about this one?
In general.
Just the colors in general.
Yes. Yes, accurate. Red is yours, blue is. Some of the blue is. Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
any edits. I'm not sure. It looks like it's any edits.
Okay. So this is the first reading. If everybody can please take a look with a little bit more detail. Thanks to Carla with the more detail. Take a look at these before the next meeting. We take action on them on the next meeting.
Where was the exhibit? Sorry, you mentioned it.
It's attached it's attached.
The exhibit one
If it's not
was,
attached, we will attach it. It should be right.
Isn't it the issue 122?
I see two attachments. I see issue 122, and I see recommended actions. I'm assuming it's in issue 122.
You want to see the actual?
Did you just tell me what page it's on? So maybe it's the very end of everything?
Carla, can you just tell him the number?
I
and
can
what?
show it here, Carlos. This may not be attached. This is like an additional page, but we can attach it if it's on there. Yeah.
Got it. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
That's for the IASB delegate.
Yes.
Yes.
So we've really never had we've never really had a process for it.
Mm-mm.
No,
What's that?
rest of it.
Community.
I said we've really never had a process for it, really. And so to have something would be nice. That's why I'm interested in it.
Yeah, can you just attach it on here? Any other discussion on the policy first readings? Okay. Transportation renewal, Ron?
Thank you. So the district has been under contract with Westway. Westway was bought out by First Student on January 30th. So now they control that contract that we're currently looking at. The good thing about First Student, just so you know, is that they have a thing called Zonar, which is a pre and post trip inspection on every single one of their 60,000 buses, as well as GPS. But the contract, though, is asking for the following increases, and then I'll explain the why. So year one, it would be a 9% increase. Year two, 7.5%. Year three is 5.5%, and then 4 and 5 would be 4.5%. So in years past, the district has seen a climb in costs. It wasn't just the district, it's every district, due to driver pay increases, insurance, gas prices, and companies are merging for transportation, which leads it to them having more of a monopoly of sorts. So increases have varied in the past 5-6 years here, from 5% up to 13% due to COVID-19, salary costs, and major insurance increases because the insurance companies want to make sure everything's covered. So our current rate is $125.35. Other districts that are our benchmarks, we have $146, one at $230, and another one at $163. So we are still under compared to other districts. But it would be the administration's recommendation to approve this contract extension in August. Those 5 years are not locked in necessarily. We can still talk to the company. But First Student is a reputable company. They do a lot of good work. And please keep in mind, for the expenses that we spend, we get a reimbursement from the state when it comes to these types of transportation. Special ed is a 60% reimbursement, and regular education is a 76% reimbursement, and that's going to be something I do every August. So we will be recommending to approve this contract. We know it looks a little inflated, but transportation companies are going away for the most part, and we are kind of at the mercy of that. At a better rate, though, than others.
So something you said, and I see the current rate, said it's $125.35. With the increase, are we closer to some of these other districts, or are you saying we're still under?
We're still, we are still under. So for example, District 214 went out to bid. They're going to add an additional 12% onto their base. What we've seen is 12% up to 15% in the bidding market. So yeah, we will still be under everybody else.
So these rates that you listed, year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that's set, that doesn't change in the next 5 years?
Those rates can change. What's nice about these types of contracts is that there's always an opt-out after those every year. So I don't want to say that we're locked into it because we never know what the market's going to hold.
Who's the opt-out? Is it our opt-out or their opt-out? Meaning there's an opt-out, do they get to opt out, or is it just us that gets to opt out?
It's us.
Have you seen any other districts locally making any adjustments due to these changes? I mean, transportation has been a beast since 2020 for everybody. And I know we've got some big districts around us. We've got some smaller districts. Like, have you seen, is there any movement with, I don't know, just new ideas based on these companies kind of continuing to merge, which means that we're just going to continue, the prices are going to keep going up? I mean.
Well, that's going to be interesting to watch. Districts have, at least in the last couple of years that I've been around, we have discussed potentially merging at some point as a potential to save. One of the difficult parts, it's the underbelly of politics, right, are the lobbyists. So for example, the transportation companies have a lot of control down in Springfield. So for example, there was legislation that's pretty controversial regarding having seatbelts in every single bus. The transportation companies were pushing it because for them, that's an additional dollar amount they can increase by. You had others who said, well, traditionally, we've always had buses that, why would we need a seatbelt? But ultimately, some people feel like it's to raise prices. I think there's still going to be some ongoing conversation. For example, our special education contract, that's something I've already started to look at for next year. And we may, I'm reaching out to people to see if we could do some sort of merge, because I think there's more power in all of us going out to bid together rather than just one district, especially of our size. So that's right now in progress.
I think we did that with the special ed contract. I think we did partner with somebody on that one, because that one had come up for renewal.
I know SASD pays for a certain percentage, and any other of the neighboring districts that receive our kids. I'd like to see it even a little bit, even more, where we're all putting our numbers together, and when we go out to bid, it's going to be, instead of just 1,300 students, maybe it's 10,000 if we get enough districts.
Okay. Any other questions on transportation renewal? Okay, referendum discussion. Do you want to talk about this, Jack?
We're asking the board to approve tonight the opportunity to go to the community and ask for funding for a new school at the Miller location. We want to be clear about that. The language that we are putting in the ballot would mean that we would be building one new building at Miller. The ask is for $68 million. We've thought about this nonstop for the last few years, pretty much. We've held in excess of 25 public meetings. We've tried to communicate everything possible about this need. I think it's hard to argue that these buildings don't need significant upgrades. We think, after a lot of consideration, that building one new building is financially in the best interest of the community. There's a reason why every community that borders us has gone to referendum and passed a referendum and funded new construction. If there was a different way, we're a very creative group, we would have looked to that. But this is how new construction is funded in the state of Illinois. And as I said, we won't be the first. The middle will be about the last district in this region to have approved a referendum for new construction. And it's needed. It's hard to ask hardworking taxpayers, especially those on fixed incomes, for money, but this is necessary, and we're being as prudent as possible about the ask. It's an investment not only in our young people, but in our school district and our community. And in the long run, we think this is the best way to proceed. And so we're asking the board to vote tonight to approve this so we can put this on the ballot on November 3rd. And we will, if it comes to the board supports this ballot measure or putting it on the referendum, we will start a series of meetings where we will answer any questions that the community has about anything related to the referendum. I love this community. I've come to love our people here, and we as a team are unanimous in believing that this is the right way to proceed. I don't think people want me to keep talking, so. Just an example, today we had a discussion in our cabinet
with fencing for our self-contained classes. So we have Manning and Miller, which are both going to have self-contained classes. That's 2 properties. By consolidating, we worry about 1 property. So when we discuss the possibility of fencing off certain areas so that students don't run into the street, well, what would be a $5,000 fix would be a $10,000 fix because it's 2 properties. This is an advantageous way, and I know that we talked about consolidation a lot, but I don't think we can stress it enough what the savings will be, and we can't even figure out how much more it could potentially be because of little examples like this that come in from day to day. So
There's another example from this morning, and Joe's here, he could speak to it. Our fob system is more than adequate. It's running on Microsoft Windows 7. And to replace it is going to be quite expensive. If we replace it in 5 buildings, it's about an additional $150,000 versus 4 buildings, as an example. These are just some of the small reasons, and there's so many others for consolidation. So that's just one of the arguments for going with this option.
One thing I'll add with this, I think I've heard things from our community that this keeps coming up, the R word or the referendum. And we spoke a lot with, people are asking, how can you get funding outside of this? And something we've said multiple times, and I know we'll need to say that and stress that this is the funding mechanism for obtaining a new building for our buildings and grounds. We are not a for-profit organization. The state holds us to protocols on how we spend, and our biggest expenditure is our staffing, and that's what, pretty much the citizens pay for in any public district in Illinois. So this is something that needs to be done, is different than last time, but it will continue to come up because we have to find an answer. I think people have said before, our kids need this. This is proactive. We don't want to be defensive or retroactive with issues that continue to come up. So it will continue to be an ask or a solution and finding the best way. And there's so many great minds in this district that came up with solutions and listening to the public and how we can adjust the ask. So.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read through the ballot question, just so that we are all on the same page. So the official ballot question that we are voting on, which is what we are voting on tonight, is and this is, what we vote on tonight is exactly what will be on the ballot, okay? So no adjustments are allowed once we've decided, if we decide to go that way. Shall the Board of Education of Westmont Community Unit District Number 201, DuPage County, Illinois, build and equip a school building at the current location of the C.E. Miller Elementary School to replace the J.T. Manning and C.E. Miller Elementary School buildings, acquire land, improve the site thereof, including creating playground space, additional parking and drop-off pickup zones, and issue its bonds to the amount of $68 million for the purpose of paying the costs thereof. So, any questions, comments? We've got a letter in here from our legal team kind of speaking about all of the steps in this process that's available. The resolution is in here.
And I think one of the updated parts of this ballot question was citing a location, correct?
Mm-hmm. That was what, yes, yes. Normally they would not recommend doing that. However, because it would limit us, essentially, well, it would limit you, right? Because it is what the voters are voting for, and that's what you're allowed to do. However, as this is our only option, the lawyers, you know, having really talked through, like, we've looked at everything, didn't think that it was going to be an issue, because we don't have anywhere else to build if we don't have anywhere else to build, so. Comments, questions?
I don't have any comments or questions, but it might be worth talking a little bit about how the board and the administration role in all of this changes once this vote is made, assuming it passes tonight. Not the referendum. The ballot initiative is what we're voting on. The referendum happens when the voting happens in November. But maybe it's worth talking a little bit about some of the rules of engagement that change for board members, the board, administration, and administration members.
So essentially, once we vote tonight, whether this is a yes or a no from the board, this will no longer be active board business. The referendum would no longer be considered active board business, because we've closed out kind of the board business portion of it. And if we decide to go with a yes, meaning that this ballot measure goes on the November election, then the board and the administration, the district as a whole, essentially cannot take a stance, okay? So the administration can educate the community on the needs. However, we can't essentially take a yes, no, vote yes, vote no situation. So the board as a whole, it's not active business anymore. So frankly, we won't discuss it anymore because there's no reason to discuss it as a board at our board meetings. So the board will no longer discuss it. It won't come up on agendas. Yeah, there's no reason for it to come up on any agendas that I can think of between now and November. And really, the administration turns into kind of the information arm of it, which is what the administration has been doing up until now, but you just have a little bit more. You really have to make sure that we're not saying vote yes, vote no. Members of teachers, staff, administration, right? Anybody who is an employee of the district can do whatever they would like to do in their free time. That their free time is their free time. So they can choose to do whatever they'd like in their free time. However, in the time that they're being paid by the district, it is not a yes-no situation. You gotta stay neutral.
So can I just add on a little bit more of that so it comes up? It's not like, so the business, I'm saying business part of it, or the information that comes from the board, maybe dates that the administration or the district is holding informationals. So you will hear the word, but we're not discussing the ballot measure, how much it's going to be. When any information comes from the district as a whole, it's regarding when and where possible meetings or open houses are being held. And then further on that, like you individually may see me go out and say, I don't like this. I'm allowed to do that as an individual, as I'm talking to my neighbors. But so I want people to understand that, like, oh, Adina said something about the referendum when she was at the grocery store. You probably won't really have me do that, but that's just giving a little bit of clarification for that. So I don't know if we have, well, it's really the administration, like a committee, correct? Like they're going to decide what dates are. I don't think the board has to approve that.
I don't even think, do we have a?
I don't know if we have to approve that or anything. It's
No.
a committee basically says this is what they're going to do, and they promote the informationals. Correct. Okay.
Any type of community group that may decide to form essentially is not driven is not driven by any of us. It's not driven by the administration. It's not supported by it. It's a independent community group. So, yeah, so I think we would see if we do town halls, whatever you guys decide to call them, right, in future meetings and events. I don't think we have a public relations committee meeting between now and November scheduled, so there's no reason for the PR committee to meet and discuss it, and have it reported to the board. So I think you'd really just see it in the future meetings and events, so.
And is this the last opportunity to vote on this going on the November election?
Yes-ish. So, the deadline for having voted, the deadline to vote, we had originally thought was the 18th, which was after our next board meeting in August. However, the actual deadline for us to vote is a couple days before that, because that's the date it has to be at the, Ron, can you speak to this part? Because you did all of the legwork on this. Instead of me trying to translate, can you?
So there, essentially, the deadline to submit the voted upon question is after the board meeting. So when the attorneys were looking through it, they said that they thought that was the meeting. It wasn't. It was before the board meeting in August for us to approve. To file it's after the board meeting. So that's where the confusion occurred.
So is the answer to Tim's question,
So.
yes, this is the last time?
Yes, and the ish
Okay.
to it is that if the board feels like we would like to give the community another opportunity to speak directly to the board via public comment or anything of that measure before we vote, then we can schedule a special meeting prior to that date if we need to, but we could schedule a special meeting or we could move our next meeting up a week. Those are our two options. If we would like to give the community more time, that is something that we can talk about. That's the issue of it. It is the last scheduled opportunity prior to the deadline.
Do we feel like we need more input from the community before we vote on this?
I'm actually really grateful for all the community input that we've had, the input from our admin team, from the input from the people affected by eminent domain, from the village. I don't know if we would hear anything new. I feel like we are in a really good place. I'm grateful for the amount of people that have participated from even the early stages of here's option A, B, C, D, right? In committee, all the way through our town halls and our open, our off-schedule board meetings that we added to our schedule in order to listen and hear. And I'm just not, I feel very confident that we're in a good place. I feel encouraged and excited to move on from this.
I agree with that.
I'll state that I'm in agreement with that also. I think we have certain thoughts that have been expressed, and I'm grateful for that. But something that the administrative team asked to do, and they're asking to now drive information even more. So I think we'll have opportunities to hear from our community with those. But I think the ask to get started with as much information giving as we can, and reach as many people who want it, and for some who haven't heard yet. I think that's the goal. It's always been a goal. So I agree with you.
I also agree with that. I just don't really think we'll hear anything new. I think we've tried to give the most amount of information we could, so, you know, I'm in agreement.
I agree with what Heather said.
Okay. Tim?
Do I need to agree or disagree?
I would like to hear from all of the board members before.
I frankly don't think we need any additional time to hear from the community, so I think tonight would be a good night to vote.
Okay. One thing that I would ask on this, because this is the last time that it is on our agenda, under the discussion item, can we please add the town hall presentation? The presentation that you guys did on the initial recommendation, Carly, you know which one I'm talking about, with like all the referendums, the local referendums that have been approved?
Yes.
Can we add those two presentations and a link to our special meeting, to the recording of our special meeting that we had a couple weeks ago? And potentially a link to the website, just because this is the last time that we're speaking to it, and it's the last time it will be on here, so that kind of people will go to our board docs as like the first place. Let's not make them search through. Okay, so let's give them the information. But I don't think that needs to be. We already have in the action item, the details on the ballot question are already attached to the action item. I specifically would like these attached to the discussion item so that it's not messier. Does anybody disagree? Get it all in one place, at least? Or the location in one place? Okay, any more discussion on the referendum?
Because it came up as a part of the discussion with the properties and asking neighbors to join with us and give their property so we could make this plan happen. We received signed legal agreements from 5 of the 7 property owners. The 6th is in possession and has told us verbally that they will submit that to us. So 6 of the 7 property owners have signed off essentially. The 7th has not made a commitment. But that was a concern, it remains a concern, but we've held very amicable, respectful, as characterized by the neighbors, positive meetings with 1 abstention out of 7. I think that really speaks to the difficulty of this situation has been navigated in a way that has been respectful of our citizens, our neighbors, and has come to almost a perfect conclusion. 6 out of 7, I think, are legally agreed to, and it was positive as characterized by the property owners. 1 is not been resolved. I think that's important with this particular option.
And I think the other thing that's important this time around is that the district hasn't engaged any outside consultants or anything to consult us on this. This has all been the district doing this on their own this time, correct?
That's correct. We have not engaged any consultants, and we have no plans to.
Anything else? Okay, moving along to our action items. The chair will entertain a motion to authorize and direct the treasurer to pay any additional bills received in July that have been budgeted for in the current or prior fiscal year as presented.
Second.
Roll call.
Dr. Hoover,
Yes.
Ms. Franklin,
Yes.
Mr. Avia,
Yes.
Ms. Mill,
Yes.
Ms. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Marin,
Yes.
Mr. Herman.
Yes. You got it, wonderful.
Motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the purchase from Renaissance for the STAR assessment and training to be used starting in the 2026-2027 school year. Just as a reminder, we discussed this at the last board meeting. Roll call.
Ms. Franklin,
Yes.
Mr. Avia,
Yes.
Ms. Mill,
Yes.
Ms. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Marin,
Yes.
Mr. Herman,
Yes.
Dr. Hoover,
Yes.
Motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution providing for and requiring the submission of the proposition of issuing $68 million school building bonds to the voters of the district at the general election to be held on the third day of November 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Avia,
Yes.
Ms. Mill,
Yes.
Ms. Conover,
Yes.
Mr. Marin,
Yes.
Mr. Herman,
Yes.
Dr. Hoover,
Yes.
Ms. Franklin,
Yes.
Motion passes. Do I have to read the resolution? No, right? Okay. Okay, moving on to the superintendent's report.
It's been a positive summer with a lot of work going on, and we're excited about the start of the school year. Next time we meet, we will have been in session for 2 days, and we're preparing for that. I think we are well prepared, and we're excited about the start of a new school year. We're excited to welcome our new students to the district and to continue our great relationship with our current families, students, and of course, our amazing teaching staff. So that's very exciting to be looking at a new school year. And anticipation, because one of the primary concerns is to continue to communicate with our community, and since the board has unanimously endorsed putting the referendum item on the ballot, we have, and because we want to be proactive and communicate and get this out as soon as possible, that's the advantage of having this decision tonight, that we can start engaging the community or continue engaging the community. We already have a series of, we're calling them town hall meetings. If the board wants to give us some feedback, we can call them referendum information sessions, or we can call them referendum town hall meetings. We'll share those dates with you in the update, but we already have preliminarily planned a meeting at Manning the first week we return, August 20th at 6:30, a Zoom meeting on the 31st at 6:30 for those who can't attend in person, a September 10th meeting at noon for community members who don't want to come out in the evening here at South, a Saturday morning meeting at Manning at 10 a.m., another meeting at Manning at 6:30, a meeting before the board meeting at Village Hall on the 22nd, and then one other October 13th meeting at 5:30 before the board meeting at Village Hall. What's the advantage here? We can immediately put this out on a postcard, get it to everybody in the community, so everybody has the dates in hand a few weeks before they actually occur, and there's a series of opportunities for people to attend, either through Zoom, Village Hall, South, Manning, Saturday, during the day, or in the evening. So we're really trying to get as many opportunities for continued community engagement as possible. These are information meetings. We're going to follow the format we followed in the last few weeks, which is a very short presentation, 15 minutes or less, and leave the bulk of the remaining time for Q&A and community, and answering the needs of the community. I think that format has served us well, and we'll continue to get that information out there. So that's the primary concern as far as getting those dates now in the mail to all citizens so they're aware of there's ample opportunities at a variety of times to ask questions and get information in the coming weeks.
So questions for you and maybe administration, Shannon, Edith. It's questions for the upcoming school year and dates, things like that. Has that, and sorry, don't judge my parenting. Has that been pushed out to the community as we're preparing? I know people may hate to hear that, that summer is coming to an end, but just want to be, like, all the open houses or welcome, has that been pushed out to our community as well?
Is the school calendar published?
The calendar's been shared, but like an actual message to say first day of school is August, I don't even use that right date. Thank you, August 19th. Just didn't want to give the wrong date. And then preschool starts August 26th, but that message hasn't gone out, but this calendar has been shared.
I'm just hoping, looking as a seasoned parent, that we start to hear ice cream socials and things like that. We're preparing to do that, so the community is aware.
Junior high, I have an incoming sixth grader that has been, there was an email that went out about all that for incoming sixth grade.
I would-
Individual principals are sending out communication. I know Miller and Manning have.
Yeah.
They're great there.
I- No, I was just going to say that, I mean, it is that time of the summer that, I mean, my son isn't the most proactive student on the planet, and he asked about his school supply list if it had arrived today, just today, which is mind-blowing that he's even thinking about it. But if he's thinking about it, I can't imagine what some might.
Yeah, I was gonna say at Miller, we got an email from Ms. Simovich about supply lists, and then as well as like drop off, meet the teacher, stuff like that. So there's been a little bit.
That's true for Manning too, and the supply list for the junior high too.
And I think that's,
We're slowly coming out of summer.
and I just like to speak to it. I think that's key, and I thank the building leaders for doing that. But one of kind of my pet peeves is that it's like information like this, and we speak to it. Is there a place, especially for parents that have multiples, like you're getting ready for the scatter, but I always, and I know it's there, but I just want it to be a place that you click on Miller, and it's a tab that opens, these are the dates. So there's like central and not so scattered.
Jack, going back to the,
You want that answered, or just?
No,
Oh,
okay, I'm sorry, yeah.
It's my answer.
Okay.
going back to the town hall meetings that you talked about, I would personally like to see the architect at a lot of those meetings, and I would personally like to maybe see some drawings from the architect. I know there's some expense to that, but I think that it would be very helpful to see, for the community to see what they're being asked about.
That's another advantage that the board approved this tonight, is that we can, if we waited till August, it would just be a delay in the architects being able to produce those things. So Ron's already been in communication with them, but it's a little bit, it would have been too assuming if that we already gave them the green light on that. But now that we have the go-ahead that there will be a ballot item, the architects will, they've been very good. So is Nicholas at present. They have almost always had somebody at every single meeting that we've ever had when we engage the community. But I appreciate what you said. I don't think you're the only one looking for this, renderings and some details about what the building would look like. And we can proceed with that because you voted tonight. That doesn't mean the final drawings, it just gives people a little bit more fleshed out. And then there's, like, Mike came forward tonight. He's been attended many meetings, and we would appreciate his and other people's insights but at least give people a little more fleshed out version of what this will look like. So, yeah, they know what they're voting for.
Anything else in the superintendent's report? Board reports?
I just wanted to say, my son went to extended school year, summer school, and at South, and it's always just a really great way to keep him on track and all of these students who are there. So I appreciate all the teachers who are willing to give up part of their summer to help our students. And then the Kindergarten Jumpstart is next week, which is also, again, asking teachers to come in, on their break. But it's such a really great program. My son went through it last year, and my younger son's gonna go through it this year. And I know it's just, it definitely helped my older son be more confident when he was starting his first day of school. So just thanks for offering these things and to the teachers who participate in them and staff.
Not so much board report, but it's something that Jack may be able to speak to. Positive results for AP, results for my high school.
Sure. I mean,
Are you asking for it tonight, or?
Well, I think Dr. Weck has made, I don't think they have all results. That's probably right, Carla, right? Oh, they do. Yeah, he said there are great results from what I recall, that our school continues to do well. So, again, appreciation to teachers, all the teachers, because they start somewhere, right? And they start from, but are at the high school, and students who put in that time and work to stay on task and be a part of this, so.
you asked for it, so you're going to get it. But we didn't just do well. The College Board, who administers this internationally, has a ranking system. And 2 years ago, there was one traditional high school, one in the state of Illinois, who got their highest honor, and that was Westmont. Last year, there were 3. Westmont was one of the 3. And this year's results were even better. And what that provides is rigorous education for any student who wants access. Unlike many high schools, we actively encourage and recruit all students to be, anybody who is even remotely interested, take advantage of it, where there's other schools in the area who say, no, you can't take these classes. So that is what distinguishes us, and that's why we have the highest rating in the state, year after year after year. And I think it's something to be very proud of, because we believe in all our students, and that's what the results speak to. And it's not just about a ranking. It's about sending a message to our kids that we believe in you, where other local high schools sometimes say, no, you can't participate. Imagine what that does to a psyche of a kid. So these results are really affirmation of our philosophy that we believe in all of our kids, and that's why we're ranked the highest. And I'm very proud of Dr. Weck and the whole team, the teachers, the students, the parents who support them, the community that supports them. It's a source of pride. It's incredible. And about 20% of our kids get a semester, a year, 3 semesters, 2 years of their college paid for through these courses. It's incredible. That's money in the pockets of our taxpayers. And it's better than a scholarship in many ways, because not only do they get that tuition reduction, but the kids are better prepared because they've been rigorously prepared. So thank you, Adina, for asking. It's so rare what our high school accomplishes, and it's not an opinion. It's not me being a proud superintendent. It's what the College Board, who is in charge of these exams at an international level, has ranked us year after year after year. So it's the hard work of the kids, the hard work of the teachers, beyond. Almost nobody's doing what we're doing in this district, in that high school. And for all the reasons I mentioned and more, it's a complete source of pride. And I could talk for a half hour and cite all the research. I could cite the research from the last 35, 40 years. We won't do that. But it's all based on research. And it's primarily that we believe in our kids. And when you have high expectations and you believe in young people, they respond at the highest levels. And that's why it's such a source of pride. So, and I'm incredibly proud. We'll give a detailed report on the results, but the teachers, the admin, and the students, and their supportive families and communities worked their tails off, and they won big time. So,
699 were taken, 70% passing rate.
there's, proportionally speaking, there's no other high school in Illinois that's doing that. None.
When you report on that, I'd love to hear it in terms of credit hours,
Yeah.
because that is what, this is the offer. This is changing.
Value creation.
That is the value. It's not just, in fact, it has little to do with awards and recognition. And the real big, massive win is the kids who graduate college in 3 years, have a master's degree in 4 years, walk into college with an entire year of college credits under their belt already. That is life-changing for those kids and their parents. So please speak to it in the credit hour piece of it.
We will.
And it is even more beyond that than even credit hours, because, and I can speak more to that too, coming with with kids who are the preparedness that they feel when they're, and because they've had this in their high school. That's another, well, and it's hard to quantify, but, and you can quantify in passing grades, but, so.
I'll just say from my experience, it gave my daughter the option of taking a lot of electives in college that she didn't otherwise have an option to take if she had to take the core classes. So it wasn't necessarily cost savings, but it gave a lot more flexibility to take things that my daughter really wanted to take in college.
Okay, we're getting dangerously close to a discussion, so are there any other board reports? Okay, is there any more public comment for the evening? Laurel Rugen? Rugen. Sorry, darn it, okay.
I just wanted to. Oops, I'm sorry. Hi, I live at 513 North Grant, and since you know the dates of what little town hall meetings or whatever, or open discussion for the village to come and get involved, can we please make sure that they don't come like at 5 o'clock the day of, which has happened in the past, notified? Since you know the dates ahead of time, can you make sure more people are aware of what is really going on, that they have the opportunity to see? Because some of the meetings I had found out about that day, like 4 or 5 o'clock, that it was at 6:30. So, because I talked to some of my neighbors and they were like, what are you talking about? So, I mean, I think it's only fair that everybody is informed about what's going on. This way they can find out. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Michael Lynn?
Yeah. Hi, guys. It's Mike Lynn again of South Lincoln Street. Not just hearing the conversations. I just want to thank you guys for all your hard work and how you guys are really fighting for the kiddos. And I see that, and I'm humbled by it. So I sometimes think about how I think J.T. Manning. I think the school was built in 1927, and I just think that America at that time only had 48 states. That's how long ago it was, and that they were still making Model Ts, which I would even though you might think, oh well, that was then, and that's different from the school, but I would not be surprised if the mechanics, and maybe Joe Smith knows, the mechanics is probably somewhat similar to Model T inside the school. Right. I mean, I'm sure there's some similarities to it. So, I just the performance of the schools is incredible, I think, and I'm kind of excited for my kiddos when they go through the whole system. I'm already happy with it so far. That I'm even more excited like as a school district 201, I'm even more excited if the students did not have to drive a Model T. I'm like that you will be able to upgrade to a new school with new wiring and everything in it. And I just wonder then, like, how much higher of a performance could we get out of the kids with that? So, thank you guys very much. And with the referendum and everything, I wish everyone Godspeed with it. So thank you.
Any other public comment? Stephen Hogan?
In reflection to my earlier comment, I do appreciate the unanimous vote of the board to approve the referendum. And I do appreciate Board Member Hivia, correct? Did I pronounce that right? I did, okay. About the reminder to the board in terms of just the code of conduct, in terms of how to conduct yourselves, as well as the reminder from Dr. Hoover for the aspect of you guys are still individuals, but in terms of respect to the board's decision unanimously that you guys support this. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, I'll move on to future meetings and events. We've got our Teachers Institute Days, August 17th and 18th, the first day of school, August 19th, preschool screening, August 20th, and our next regular meeting of the CUSD 201 Board of Education is August 18th, 6:30 p.m. over at Village Hall. Any other communication items? New?
Read July 21st on
Read. When I read the, oh, thank you, thank you. You know that I read verbatim. Yep. Okay, the chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn the July 21st, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.